Hello everybody and welcome back to the ESL Arena here in Katowice. This is the ESL 1 Cologne offline qualifiers and we're almost halfway through day 2 and this is where we start to get interesting. We have teams that are 1-0, teams that are 0-1 playing against each other. The losers here at 0-1 will be potentially facing elimination tomorrow. So that's why today is important. It leads us on an important trajectory towards those games, crucially, will be happening on Saturday. But this next game, if you missed the last one, you definitely missed out, of course. Tai Lu managed to get the victory over Immortals in what was an exciting and explosive game, but this one should prove to be no different. After losing out to their longtime sparring partners yesterday, we do see Dignitas now come back into this one with blood boiling in their veins. They want to keep themselves afloat, prevent any chance of relegation on Saturday. We did see MSL struggle quite a lot yesterday, and there is still a question mark over Cajun B in terms of his role in the team and if he's making the impact that Dignitas need him to. On the other side, of course, is Team Empire, who played up against Cloud9 yesterday on Cobblestone, and it was quite a close affair. They got out to a good early lead, but Cloud9 pulled their socks up and they got the job done. So there's definitely a lot on Empire's plate at this stage as well, going up against quite a seasoned team, and maybe they're just going to have to go for something unexpected to throw in the mix and see if they can clinch a win. Alex, of course, the odds are stacked against Empire here, but we did see some good stuff from them yesterday.
Absolutely. The closing point we made on Empire, actually from Vendetta, said that actually, had they won a couple of pistols, that result versus Cloud9 could have been very different. So positive signs from the team that did hail from the CIS minor. I've got Blue joining Vendetta now. Good to have you with us, mate. We've got a quick one here. I'm afraid it's going to be a quick segment. And actually, in the interest of time, I'd like to start with the veto. I know we don't normally do this, but let's go ahead and bring that veto up ASAP between Dig and Empire. And I do believe we're going to be seeing Train immediately taken away by the Danes. I'll throw this over to you two, though, to toss and turn and try and work out where we're going.
Well, both of these teams have pretty set vetoes, and well, Dignitas, they don't necessarily play Dust 2 that much as well, so I'm expecting that to be one of the vetoes coming in. Mirage being taken out, that's a strong map for Dignitas, even though they didn't have the best showing of it yesterday, yeah. But still a respect ban coming out from Empire. They don't want to mess around with that. What's actually kind of interesting is that, well, we could end up in a scenario where we play Nuke. This is one of the maps that Empire played at the CIS minor, and it's also a map that Dignitas have been very open about the fact that they're practicing quite a lot.
It's interesting because it's just been a big game of chicken up to this point as to who's going to let it go through first.
Waste their veto, yeah.
Look, Empire has the option, and they've played it before, so...
It's Nuke. It's Nuke, it's Nuke, it's Nuke! Okay!
I feel bad for Rush.
How long did that take? Oh, he's going to have to observe Nuke.
I feel so bad for Rush right now.
Okay, so our hearts go out to our one and only observer, Rushley. We love you, mate, but good luck, because there's going to be levels, there's going to be bad observing is what there's going to be, and we apologize in advance. It's going to be awesome, though. So Nuke is happening, boys. Dignitas have practiced it. You said it quite openly. What did they say within these statements? Just, we're going to make this our map? Was there anything more to it? Okay.
Pretty much the second it got announced, they were like, well, we're making this our map. Previously, Danes had just a history of being very, very good on this map. They've always enjoyed it. Obviously, a bit of a different iteration of it.
Sure.
But it's still something that fits very well with kind of the Danish way of playing CS. Strong CT sides being a very typical thing for Danish teams. Nuke kind of lends into that in a big way.
Have you had much time to run around Nuke yet, Blue?
No, not really. But I mean, in all honesty, just looking at Empire's history, it's a very weird choice that they go for this. Just when you look at them barely scraping by the one time that they did play it at the CIS minor, in all aspects, looking at it statistically, their opponent team in that matchup, Arcade, should have won that matchup. And they dominated them for a large portion of the second half. They started off well, but then they dropped the ball completely on their T side. The only thing that really brought them back was their entry power on the T side, and that was the one thing that I think pushed them over the edge to be able to make that. And that was as close as it could possibly be, 16-14. So I feel like this is going to be a very tough one for Empire, especially considering they were the ones that now have chosen to go to this map when they had the choice.
Yeah, and it's super scary actually, simply because they're going up against a team that's way better than Arcade. And with Dignitas being so open about it, I don't really understand the thought process of Empire. But
well, I mean, there was an option between that and what was the overpass was the other option.
Yeah, it's not a great second choice, I guess. So they might be thinking the way of this could be a bit of a random toss-up, and if you get on the CT side, you get off to a hot start, maybe you can do something.
Yeah, and now if you're a new viewer and you're wondering what on earth are you talking about Nuke, I'm sorry, what? If you've only just started playing or watching CS, you're talking about a map that they may not be too familiar with, of course reintroduced quite recently into the map pool by Valve. Maybe, however, you could do us a favor and explain what to expect with what was previously rather CT-sided.
Yeah, exactly. On the previous, obviously we haven't seen too much of the new version just yet because it's, as you said, just been reintroduced to the map, but it's been a staple of CS for about 12 years now plus. And throughout the history of the map, it's been extremely CT-sided, to the point where you'd be perfectly fine if you only got 3 terrorist rounds.
Right.
That you could definitely work with that. If you got 4, then you pretty much had everything set, right? So not really sure what to expect, but history tells us it's been an extremely CT-sided map, and that's kind of what you have to look out for. So do not fret if one team goes down heavy.
There have been alterations to kind of try and give the T side more ways, especially to take outside. You'll be seeing much easier access to silo, that ridiculous balcony connection. A lot of things that people aren't necessarily sure are going to be sticking around. But currently, in this version of the map, it is as it stands. In fact, in the new patch, there's a new addition of a ladder, but currently there's that ridiculous situation where they can plant on top, and it's like a 15-second rotate to get the defuse.
Yeah,
so
you basically lose the retake if you just opt for the wrong way to go for the retake, which is kind of silly. So good to see Valve actually sorting that out.
Yeah, it is under construction, but it seems like Empire and Dignitas want to be playing it. Gents, I know you kind of suggested Dignitas are going to be picking this one up, at least Halvor has. He's made his intentions clear. Blue, what have you got for me?
I have to agree. I think it's going to be Dignitas. Like, the one thing that could slip them up is the fact that primarily in that match of yesterday was like all Cajun B doing the heavy lifting for them, and even at the beginning of that match, Cajun B was kind of absent, so maybe if the individualistics drop off again, I could feel a room for Empire to sort of slip in and take that away, but more than likely, just based on the pure caliber of teams, I think Dignitas should have this one easily.
All right, let's get into it then. There may be a vent dive or two, there may be a surprise or two as well. Empire are going to be taking on Dignitas in a battle for survival. This is our last losers match. Currently, both of these teams stand at 0 and 1, and now they look to level things out. Let's get into it with your casters. It's going to be Metas and Natu.
Nuke, that's great banter. It really is. Who thought of that? Well, it's going to be interesting. If nothing else, I feel coming into this, all bets are off really in terms of predictions, because quite simply put, we really haven't seen a lot of statistics. We haven't seen a lot of Nuke plays. This is actually my first time casting it since the old Nuke.
Yes, I've never casted this new Nuke, that's for sure. I mean, barely even played it. Played a couple times in matchmaking, jumped around it a little bit, but it's going to be an experience, I feel like, and I think it's kind of a weird veto for Dignitas in a sense where they are the heavy favorites in this matchup. So do you really want to go to a map that is always going to be green in the sense that you won't have that much experience on it? Obviously, you may have been practicing for a few weeks, but then again, you have not been playing a lot of official games on it. You have not been in a lot of situations where things are not working great. So you have that plan B or plan C, you know, from the back of your head to come up with in a situation where things are not working out. So this is pretty much the best case scenario for Empire to be able to surprise Dignitas, in my opinion anyway.
I completely agree with you. I feel like if it goes to one of the more standard maps, then Dignitas will definitely shine through and potentially win it. This could be the banana peel. You know, they slip over and then you have Immortals and Dignitas on 0 for 2. And as Alex actually said on the desk, imagine those two play each other. It'll be absolutely insane.
Well, we are live here. It's going to be Dignitas on the C side right now. And they have one set of nades on MSL, everyone else with the armors on the CTs. You have a kid on Electronic, and it's going to be a faster for Dignitas, so let's got right into it. Spas opening things up, getting that first kill on Latensky.
From main, he's going to have to back himself off. Meanwhile, Spiker on Heaven, he's trying to lock this one down. 2 more players coming up to help him. Cyber Focus, one of which, with his USP, is going to have to try and make some miracles happen. Meanwhile, the bomb has been planted on the upper site. Space in main. Trying to catch a glimpse of any terrorists, but in fairness to Dignitas, they're playing this one very slowly. This allows Conflict to come up from behind, but he misses opportunity. Meanwhile, Rubino is going to go in form with 2 headshots, and MSL and Cajun B pick it up in style. Dignitas, very aggressive round, pays out for them.
We've already seen classic Nuke coming in, this squeaky rush from Dignitas, and they get the bomb site, they get the entries, and Conflict on the classic ramp rotation for the flank as well. Rubino doing massive work in that after planet. That's going to be Dignitas picking up that always important piss around. As you can see in your monitors right now, Empire has decided to force by 5.7s and P250s in play along with armors. So they're definitely not taking the conservative route. Meanwhile, though, Dignitas deciding to just go for this yard area, just trying to scout out what's going on with the CTs.
Yeah, we'll be chilling outside, of course. One of the changes onto the new Nuke is that you have that catwalk outside, much easier to get on top of silos as well, so there's more avenues to aggress. Of course, historically, Nuke was heavily CT side. It wasn't out of the ordinary to see 12, 13 rounds picked up. Very different now, though, of course. Space looking down with the 5.7. First kill goes his way up on the stairs. He's going to be trying to look for a second one. Kuch just out with 2 of his own, and the bomb's been dropped to add to the woes of Dignitas. Gone horribly wrong. Rubino's going to try and steer the ship away from the rocks, but Empire with 2 AKs behind the Kevlar are looking pretty at this point in the round.
Yeah, Yeah, that was Dignitas trying to go to the lower bomb side, but I felt like they should have tried to smoke off the back of the vent area and just take full control of that window. Instead, they got penciled in there from a crossfire from those 2 CTs, and that's going to be another Cajun B and Rubino in a 2-on-3 situation. Rubino being down in HP as well. There's 2 AKs being picked up by Spaz and Kutcher. Spaz is going to be able to see Rubino with a nice headshot from him, and that's going to equalize the situation.
There's the kill straight back again. And it's going to be Empire answering back. Electronic with 2 kills. Very nice play from the CTs, but a sporadic, strange push. Dropping a bomb out in secret, just on lower stairs. Always going to be a nightmare to reclaim, and Dignitas pay the ultimate penalty. They will be conceding the round.
Exactly, that's the thing. There's so many angles on this map as well now that you kind of have to have a system of how you do that. I mean, it's fine going outer bomb side, like not outer bomb side, but to the yard in an anti-eco or against a force buy, as long as you use your grenades correctly. Maybe when you go down secret, you definitely want to smoke off the back of the vent area and just take full control of the window. Instead, they paid a price for not doing that. And that's going to be Empire managing to equalize, and now it's going to be a force fight from Dignitas as well.
Especially as there's another level of stairs as well that go down into the decon room. So now there's even more places to watch out for if you end up dropping the bomb there, and just strength in numbers. Dignitas with the aggressive plays, and Alex said, maybe a couple of vent dives. There's the first one. Dignitas
in round number 3.
Down. Indeed. I think we'll see that as a repeat strat that comes to fruition, but meanwhile MSL has lost his life, and with Tensky and Config both incredibly low, not looking good for Dignitas in this force fight. Cajun B though, his headshot is going to alleviate some of that pressure. Config is now the last man on 6 health with a UMP in his hands, and well, surely no hope of getting anything done from this point. If he can take a player down with him, that'll probably be enough.
I think that's the most you can hope for right now. It's a really horrible situation for him, trying to go to those lower bomb site. There's not really any cover he can go behind, except for that silo on the bomb site, and it's going to be Electronic getting the last kill, nullifying that attack from Dignitas. We're now forced to save round. A good start for Empire after winning that forest by rather round number 2.
So of course the main changes that came in helping the T's out a little bit more now. Silo, catwalks we mentioned before. There's a little bit more room as well in the hut where you can actually see up onto the catwalk when you come out on the exit. And also on top of that, catwalk is now a bit more isolated off. You can't go into the main side of catwalk anymore, where you can see now Kutcher was looking as this little crane across. Speaking of which, the MP9 is going to have to open up some frags and do that. It will. With 2 kills, Spike in the meanwhile will clean it up with the AK-47, and as expected, Dignitas will be bowing out. They didn't take any players down with them.
Yeah, and also the fact that you only have 1 vent now.
Yes, that's a good point.
So you can't really go down. If you see the terrorists go through that T vent, now the only vent that is open, you can't just go down the city vent and try to move them down. Also, the catwalk starting all the way from basically from the T roof. So definitely that's one way to try to make this map more balanced. But we'll see how it starts developing, obviously, as teams start to pick up this map more. Start learning to counter things that the opposing team is doing.
Yeah, we are witnessing a bit of history here, actually. It's one of the first top-tier games on Nuke that's been broadcast. And what a time to burst this out as well in the qualifiers for the Major West. So much stands, but Cyber Focus with a double spray down. He's going to lock down outside for now. That being said, though, Dignitas will not be dissuaded from pushing down into secret, but space is there. He spotted the barrel of the guns protruding through. Double kill for him. Will be emulating his fallen comrade of Cyber Focus, and now Rubino with his AK pushing through ramp, but he's all alone, and the bomb's on the other side of the map.
That's exactly what I meant before game. The map is still so new that there's so many angles, so many little things that you might not be very off. And that is exactly Empire now utilizing it 100%, and Rubino trying to make a play. It's going to be taken down by Spaz. What I mean by that is that in those secret stairs, there's a lot of room next to the stairs where Cyber Focus managed to get 2 kills. And then one more Empire player having a double kill going down. So it's a good start for Empire, leading 4-1. And it's going to be another save here coming from the Danish team.
Almost a classic deco coming in.
Yes, you could say so, yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, are they going to be spamming through the walls here, or what's going on? Cyber Focus though, he's opening things up.
So what we're talking about with the catwalk, it allows MSL to drop down into main. He does end his life as a result, though. Spaz was there with the AK. Cajun B lands the one tap. The player that you highlighted to look out for, it was either yourself or Ven yesterday, obviously filling in the shoes of Kia B. They just straight up swap between them and Australis. Has landed himself the kill. So is Tensky. That keeps things interesting. Additionally, the M4 has been claimed. No Kevlar behind its aim punch is going to be an issue, alongside all the damage that could be facing off against Dig, and they desperately need to start clawing back some rounds here because Empire have looked pretty solid thus far on Nuke.
Yeah, so limited left on the clock for Dignitas players to maneuver around this map, and for the CTs, they just want to hold the bomb sites right now. Maybe have one downstairs around the window room, and have two play upper bomb site, because the rotation time obviously is just a couple seconds to that lower bomb site or to the upper bomb site, depending where you are sited on the lower bomb site. Meanwhile, Tensky trying to make his way up to heaven, making his way here in the vent. The one in main, so I think it's evidently going to be an upper push. You might be able to get something with this op. Nope, he's not going to be able to get it. And Spiker is fast coming in. It's only all up to now Cajun B. He gets a kill to keep things competitive against Fast and Electronic. With 38 HP, no armor, and 16 seconds on the clock, it's going to be very hard for him to make a play.
Cage is going in for this one. He's not going to be put off from the time. Misses his shot and trying to back away. It's so important he doesn't die after time now. Want to keep that AWP in play. More importantly, keep that economy looking good. By the way, there was a pause from Empire as there's some sound issues, so we are going to be a little bit waiting a little while longer with the delay. 5-1. Dignitas do keep the AWP in play.
Yeah.
The other issue and the other change, I suppose I should say, that I've just remembered is Toxic. Obviously, the placement of Toxic has moved slightly to the left-hand side, depending on if you're looking from Event's perspective. It's kind of more backwards rather than adjacent to the doors.
So what do we call the door now? In the back corner, then?
That's decon room, I think. It's like called decontamination. It's like sinks and stuff, isn't it, with gloves?
Right. Okay.
So I don't know. I guess decon. Is a pretty solid call. New room. I have no idea. We're just
the room with the door.
Yeah, the room with the door. Brilliant. So that does add a couple of dynamics. Obviously, there is a little alleyway down to Decon as well from Secret, which we saw before when the bomb was dropped from Dignitas earlier on.
I think the storyline so far has to be that the Dignitas has been surprised by a single player a little bit too much so far in the first few rounds. Something kind of what I was alluding to previously, where this map is so new still that there's so many little things that you haven't been playing against. There's positions that you've probably never played against that you're going to get surprised by easily. And that is exactly what Empire has been managing to do. In the crucial rounds of all things as well. And then obviously losing against the Force Buy, not great things to do, just based off of them playing it like a default kind of round and then trying to commit into Secret. And then as they were going down there, they needed to have a bigger commitment basically. They needed to have some kind of a plan, how do we do this, instead of getting choked by a crossfire, by the window room and the back of the vent.
And again, it's hard to gauge how this map falls down in terms of is it CT or T biased, especially with these two teams, because we just don't have that many stats or figures to work off. I feel like obviously it's a lot more balanced than it used to be, at least. But is one round so far okay for Dig? Can they bounce back? There are so many questions, and I'm very interested, honestly, to see if they're going to be able to make this AWP work. Now, we were asking before, is MSL going to retain the AWP? Cajun B's got it for himself this time on top of silos.
It's going to be Rubino taking through, I think, through that squeaky door to open things up for Empire. We see the classic yard smokes come in from Dignitas to open up a route towards that exit. And I think we have MSL down there by now. We do. But he's going to be alone there. Still a minute and 13 on the clock, but being down 3-on-5 as Cyber Focus connects onto Cajun B is going to make things worse. Couture is kind of ready here at a back event for a potential push to downstairs as well.
So first two players falling, both at the hands of Team Empire. Aforementioned AWP no longer in play for Dignitas. Rubino has been left alive a couple of times on the lurk. Finds himself silenced as well. There are still grenades to play with, and B control has been assumed, but the bomb is nowhere near them, and that is the issue, because Tensky now has the long process of trying to get through and navigate his way over multiple obstacles, while the rest of Dignitas try and filter out the rest of the map, and MSL is going to do just that with a kill onto Cyber Focus. Gets traded back from Electronic, two-player stack and ramp. That's more than good enough to stop this charge. Meanwhile, Tensky lands the spray down, but he's on 1 health.
That's all for Config to do at this point. Tensky needs to get downstairs and try to get the plan. He's not going to go on that plan on top of the silo. Smash, what it is here in, what is it called, a decon room? Well, Tensky is going to make his way into the new Toxic. But like I said, it's going to be all on the config with the 100 HP, and he's already going to see Kutcher, who takes him down. John Tensky, 1 HP, another Toxic. Ooh, he misses that opportunity he should have had any day of the week. That's going to be yet another round going the way of Empire.
Plus, Toxic itself isn't quite as viable, well, not necessarily viable, but not quite as strong as it used to be because there's a window. So you can actually just peek through the window and have a quick check in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's super hard to hide there anywhere. But I'm sure people will learn how to use those barrels in the in Toxic.
But of course, the other aspect of that as well, Natty, was before when the player was locked in Toxic, you'd have to open the door or shoot a hole in to throw the Molotov in. I can just toss it through the window.
Yeah, exactly.
So it does become much more difficult to actually just sit in Toxic and say, okay, I've got the advantage here. There are a lot of ways to get rid of somebody there. So again, it's just a case of seeing if the team can find their footing. And so far, Empire have been very quick to adapt to new Nuke.
Certainly have, leading 6-1, and their economy is building up too. So the pressure is mounting on Dignitas right now. More so working in this lobby area, and it seems like they're going to be going through the vent right now. Tensky with the opening kill on the Spiker. They have sent 2 people down the vent. Rubino going down Secret. But it's going to be Kusher and Electronic getting those kills downstairs. But still the bomb gets planted, so it comes a 3-on-4. But it favors the TCs for the retake.
Config going to be hiding behind the site, waiting for the CTs to funnel their way down ramp, where 2 are, one of which is Cyber Focus taking point with the AWP. They'll need to land the shot on Config if they want a chance at clutching this out. You got to feel, and now he has gone down, leaving Kutcher coming through the vent. See what he can get done. Spraying down prematurely, doesn't get the frag, and now he will be picked off from Deacon Stairs, courtesy of Config. So Dignitas have doubled their amount of rounds, but still find themselves a 4-round deficit. Empire with a comfortable rebuy.
And also the fact that their money is definitely not pretty, so they're going to be fully invested into this one, and still, well, they do have pretty much everything they would like to. Still, there's that time in the game where pressure is mounting for them to be able to string some rounds together. Otherwise, it's going to get ever so harder as the half gets further down. It seems like the focus is going to be towards the yard area of the map. A few smokes coming in, probably creating a wall of smokes to isolate the secret side of the yard to the secret area of the yard to try and make their way down. I see 2 players are close to main. Rubino waiting for that push, but doesn't react at all, it seems to me like.
Yeah, a bit slow on trigger for sure. Obviously just not expecting it. Came out second best. Kutcher from Heaven putting down the pain. Cyber Focus and Spaz, everyone chiming in this round. Actually, it's nearly a team ace. The only player who didn't get himself on the scoreboard was Spiker in round 9, but Config and Secret, all that remains of Dignitas. And we've seen a lot of A plays, a lot of Secret plays as well. No real ramp aggression. The only time we saw it was from Tensky, who actually came up from B site around ramp to get a kill. So I'm curious if that's going to change. Of course, it is very much a bottleneck area of the map, and things can go horribly wrong for the T's.
Yeah, that was Dignitas trying to make it seem like they're going down Secret, but they have a couple players go towards the main area, and they try to plow through into the inner bomb site, or upper bomb site, I want to say, I guess. Not working out. They're not managing to get the kills. 2 players in Heaven just mowing down an attack, plus the player coming up vent. Being the final nail in the coffin now. It's going to be that same round with the Eagles and CZs in play for Dignitas.
Nice headshot from Kutcher, relocating behind the second vent. Kills are just coming in thick and fast, and Dignitas again are being repelled with ease. Empire shifting through the gears. Spiker with 2 kills this round, trying to make amends for his previous mishap in the round 9. Tensky's the Eagle's going to have to pull off some miracle here. Missing that first shot. Position is now known, only a matter of time, and Kutcher's there. And this is why I went back to the whole concept of being very surprised that Dignitas would go for Nuke, especially in such a big match where you're potentially staring down a 0-2 deficit. Yeah. Surely you want to go for a tried and true map instead.
Yeah, this could be the biggest mistake they ever made. But it's only 10 rounds in, so a lot of things can happen here still.
Very true, yeah.
But yeah, it is a little bit concerning so far.
Early signs definitely aren't looking good though for Dignitas.
No.
But as you say, they've got time to turn this round.
But you can tell they have practiced their smokes, and the placements are okay, their ideas are okay, but obviously they don't have that much routine on the map to be wary of every single angle that the cities could potentially be in. It seems it's going to be a straight up yard push and cyber focus here in Secret. Brady with the double as well. He's going to make it 3 here as the bomb's down. Config still coming in. Cyber focus with the 4th kill of a round. The Spaz to close things out, and that's going to be just another demoralizing round for Dignitas.
That's got to be soul destroy, man. You finally got some AKs. It's not a great buy, but then bang, 2 for 1. Good night. Bomb dropped. Round's done. Just in the matter of a couple seconds, Cyber Focus takes it and makes it his own. And I got to say, Team Empire have looked incredibly strong.
Yeah, good job by the 2 more experienced players. Kucher sitting at 13 frags and Cyber Focus at 10. Of those 10, he just got 4 of them. Previous round, obviously, but still, job well done. Cyber Focus continuing on what happened last round, gets the kill with the Cajun B. Is he going to be able to get one more? He is. Sensky goes down. Now it's just going to be a wipe down of Dignitas players with Config being the last one remaining here in the catwalk on top of main. It's going to be Kucher to pick that 5th frag of the round.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, Natty, but I think another change that we didn't mention before is outside in Garage, there's like a shutter that comes down a little bit, right? So you can't see the top of Silo unless you're a bit too far ahead. I think before you could see it from more of a deep position in Garage.
Like I said, I haven't really played this map too much, so I'm not 100% sure. You are possibly right, actually, yeah.
Because before you could actually sit near the back of Garage and still peer up towards Silo, you can see behind the boxes as well. But now I think you actually have to be at the very front to look up.
Take a more risky
Exactly.
angle. Yeah.
So it leaves you out in the open more to be picked off yourself or naded or flashed out or what have you. So a lot of different layers, intricate details for teams to wrap their heads around. And so far, as I said before, Empire have adapted much quicker. Again, though, with this meta,
side,
maybe Dignitas go CT and do the same thing.
Yes, exactly. I think the T sides are going to struggle quite a bit for a while. There are obviously a lot more opportunities on this map right now with how they've changed the layout and everything. So let's say a few months down the line, we're probably going to see way more rounds from the T sides, but there are going to be a lot of early struggles because it's easier to find those new angles, find those advantageous positions when you're on the CT side. So yeah, simple as that.
So timeout calls, the reason that you're seeing us rather than the gameplay, you're not missing anything, don't worry. 10-2 who just joined us, Dignitas, who lost yesterday against FaZe, I want to say. My memory's awful.
Yeah.
Against FaZe, yeah.
Oh, Mirage.
I think it was 16-9, something like that.
Something along those lines, yeah.
Fairly one-sided in the end. And now find themselves staring down a potential 0-2 deficit, which Immortals got themselves earlier today, losing against Tyloo on Cash. Tyloo played very well indeed, but that means, as Alex said on the desk, and I mentioned this before, if Dignitas lose this, there is a chance that we might see Dignitas versus Immortals for a knockout game.
Wouldn't that be just dramatic, if anything?
Pretty insane.
Both teams that were expected to get the MLG Major not being able to do the so in a fashion that was very underwhelming. So if those both teams would be at 0-2 come tomorrow, playing one another, that would definitely be, I think a lot of tears would be shed on one side. But it's still early days. It's only 10-2.
Yep.
In Nuke, a new map, and it's untested waters for pretty much all the teams. No teams have really played this in official games too much. So I'm gonna make the argument that Dignitas is gonna make this competitive on the CT side.
I agree, but the problem for me then is, do you leave yourself enough leeway or wiggle room if you lose the next pistol? Because effectively, Dignitas, even if they win the rest of these rounds, which is looking, let me have a quick look at their economy. They got like about 5,000. So if they win this round and win the rest, they're gonna have 5 rounds. You lose a pistol, you're still in trouble. If they get no more rounds from this half, they have 0 room for error at that point.
Well, if they get no more rounds, then it's pretty much the same as we had previously on Nuke. But I think the opportunities are there for the pick up a couple more rounds. I mean, they've had some good plays. It's just been getting surprised by a lot of the positioning that Team Empire has been able to throw at them, specifically cyber focus around that secret area. It's been a huge part of their defense so far. But it is round number 13 coming in, and it's going to be a full buy from Dignitas. And they, like you said, have those AKs now in play and all the grenades that you could need, but they're creating that wall of smokes. This time, though, falling back, and I guess they're looking for either a ramp push or upper push. Seems like the bomb is making its way to the radio room.
Indeed it is. There is a incendiary to greet them, so they can't get the fast play through smoke. Electronic holding a tight angle. Also those boxes to his left-hand side didn't used to be there, so you can have the very acute angle to try and hold that off. Meanwhile, though, ramp has been completely taken from Team Dignitas. But what can they do with this? The 1-4 trade, pretty solid start. One of the best starts we've seen from Dig, but can they get the bomb down? And more importantly, can they keep it secure? As Cajun B is going to be planting for what I would assume would be Toxic. Allows him to peek out of the window side, and that's exactly what he's going to go for now. Meanwhile, ramp should be secure, but it's going to be the vent side where Team Empire look to retake from.
And it's going to be another kill coin the way Empire though. So it is now a 4-2 in their favor, but Convic, he could be the changer in this round as he is in the vent right now. I don't think any of the seats have any clue. KGB though, his position is no down. Well, both of them are, but they are making great work at now.
Team kill.
Yeah, it's going to be a 1-on-1 all of a sudden. But it's Future just holding onto this diffuse. Is he going to be able to get it? So close. No, he's not. It's going to be Config in the end to get the kill. I don't think that was far off from being a diffuse, to be honest.
No.
But what a scrappy round back and forth in that afterplan situation. A team kill coming in from Empire as well.
Oh, you just saw it there with the X-ray. They lined up. He went to shoot Cage and beat in Toxic as his teammate walked ahead of him. Very unfortunate timing, but just goes to show how frantic Nuke can be down that B site, especially with the addition of a new room as well. You can't even be 100% sure that you can just look into Toxic for all you know they're going to be around the back of you.
Well, now this is going to put a lot of pressure on Dignitas in terms of their economy because they don't have a lot of money to buy with. Not all the grenades they would like to have. Cyber Focus, by the way, already get a bit of a peek, playing aggressive in the hot area. Decides to fall back. Kucher, though, opening things up. And I think one of the Dignitas players already made his way down the secret. But none of CT's wait. I think one of the suggestions did make his way downstairs, but Spiker with the kill towards main. Marcel Tansky with the answers. Back and forth. And now just a 1-on-3 for Config to work with.
Well, that's what I was about to say is chances aren't looking too good, and their Cyber Focus puts him down. 16 kills for him alongside Kucher, who's on 16 for 6. Cyber Focus has 2 more deaths, but has definitely been pulling his weight, especially outside. I think it's something he highlighted before. He had complete control out of outside with the AWP from Secret and then Garage. And Dignitas will be coming through into the last round with 0 assault rifles. It's just pistols, and that's it.
2 smokes and 3 flashes and a Molotov. That's what they have to work with. I think they're going to be smoking off yard again. Trying to do something with it, but it seems like they might be wanting to just go through the squeaky door. KGB there, you know, by the hot. So Tansky by the squeaky door. These smokes turn out to be a bit of a fake with one player making some noise, and here comes a plow through, and Kucher are going to be ready for it. He's not. He gets taken down. Tansky and KGB with the 2 entry kills on that upper bomb site, and now it becomes a retake.
That timing though for Kucher was so unfortunate. He was stuck in the switch animation after throwing his smoke, and that's probably going to cost him and his team the round, as he'd be hoping to get at least a kill or 2 against pistols. Electronic Cyber Focus. Using that AWP to retake through main and smoke is never the easiest of tasks, and he is going to be put down with ease from Tensky. Electronic now has so many angles to watch out for. First kill goes his way. He's going to be trying to scamper his way down. Tickles the bomb, trying to drop more place. Oh, I actually thought he had that kill on MSL. Instead, 6 health left for him. Dignitas do pick up a 4th round, but that's all they're going to get out of this half.
Well, I think we're going to be taking a halftime break here as we come back. It is going to be Empire on that T side. Let's see how they do. Be right back.
Welcome back to Dignitas' worst nightmare. They face off against Empire, who have been man-mountains on the CT side, and the simple task ahead of them is to start strong or go 2-0 down in the major qualifiers for Cologne. That is definitely not the situation I personally expected them to be in, but that's the situation they're staring down right now.
Yeah, it's a terrifying picture to be painted, but it is the reality that they have to live with right now. But it's going to be, I feel like, unless the fifth round goes the way of Empire, it's probably going to be a struggle for them on the T-side too. I think we're going to see a lot of that from a lot of teams early on in these Nuke matches. But let's look at the buy now from Empire. They have 2 sets of nades and Raid Boss Tech9 on Cyber Focus. So that's 2 smokes and 2 flashes to play with so far. A very passive hold of, well, from both sides, to be honest with you. Not really doing anything, waiting for that early aggression as Team Empire. They're not going to be finding much.
The interesting thing as well from Dignitas on their T side, we didn't really see that many grenades utilized. You know, maybe a smoke or a flash here or there, but no pop flashes really to speak of. I'm curious to see if Empire are going to have a couple plays to show off. CZ for MSL, rest of the team with straight up USPs. Of course, it's such a powerful weapon in these pistol rounds. Meanwhile, double smokes for Empire, double flashbangs for Spiker as well. But not pulling the trigger on any kind of aggression just yet.
There's the smoke for main though, so that implies it's probably going to be an upper push coming in. Rubino's going to spot Spaz at the Squeaky, and here comes the push in now from main. It's going to be Rubino starting things off, but Kucher getting a kill of his own, but the numbers do favor Dignitas so far. It becomes a 2-on-1, Cyber Focus being alone when the Tech9 and the bomb, and he's going to try to slow things down, but Tensky on the flank, getting that kill, and the all-important pistol round does go the way of Dignitas, so we have a game in our hands.
Solid work from Cage and 2 kills for him, pretty much locking down the site. Single-handedly buys the rest of his team enough wiggle room to get themselves into close enough proximity, but wiggle. Indeed. That's what Dignitas going to have to do. Break out of the shackles of Nuke so far, but heavy investment into this round. 4 assault rifles, MP7 for MSL, whereas Empire,
very conservative.
Not too interested. Let's just go for a few P250s, that's it.
I would have liked to see a few grenades, flashes at least, maybe a smoke. Try to force that plant config. Taking a bit of a time to try to get a kill. Electronic though, he's going to open things up on his side. Situation still favors Dignitas quite heavily. Spaz and Spiker, the last 2 remaining. Trying to get some kills to make sure Dignitas has to rebuy some of these weapons, and Spaz actually managed to do that. KJB going down. It's going to be Rubino facing one of them. He gets the kill. So Spiker coming in. It's going to go down. Rubino with the double kill to end things here. That second round of this half, and now let's see what Team Empire decides to do. I don't think they should buy, that's for sure. Maybe now get some Tech9. Well, there we go. They buy. And I'm triggered. 11-4 half. You don't get a bomb plant either of the first 2 rounds, and then you go for the Galils and AK-47s with 2 smokes and a grenade.
Well, I guess
I hope you have a great plan in hand.
Yeah, I suppose the idea here is that whereas on some maps you can get a lot of set plays down, on Nuke it is quite indoor-centric and very close proximity. So they're just going to go right out with the firepower and try and catch Dignitas unaware. And they got 2 kills, making a 3rd as well. Cyber Focus with 2. And these Galils and AKs have been paying out for Empire. Bomb planted, Tensky and Cajun B with the horrific task of retaking a 2-on-4. And they have no kits. Oh, they do have a kit, pardon me, on Tensky. They've also got an incendiary in his hand, so maybe this is doable.
Okay.
Unlikely,
so
though.
Apparently, Molotoving Squeaky door in the beginning of the round is not a thing anymore.
Apparently.
Because they got free entry, Empire did, to the upper bomb set, and 1 MP7 in catwalks is definitely not going to hold that rush. And what triggered me turns out to be the perfect plan from Empire. And they pick up the 3rd round of the half. KGB and Tensky trying to save these weapons. I think they should probably be able to, unless Kucher manages to get something out of this. I'm going to spot Tensky. Tensky does see him going to CT spawn. So yeah, that turns out to be a good call from Empire, rushing upper bomb site.
Dignitas just were not in position to repel that whatsoever. Totally out of position. Maybe they assumed from the previous round that Empire had gone for a force with Kevlar and were just expecting a full-on eco, but even then, you should still be watching for like vent dives, because surely that's one of the only ways you're really realistically going to get anything out of an eco round anyway on a T's perspective.
Yeah, no matter what, I don't think any reason why not to Molotov these choke points on the map. It seems there's going to be another upper push coming in. Rubino is going to be able to get 1 kill, make a lot of damage into another. MSL with that FAMAS make 2 kills. So this time around, they make a way better work at holding the upper bombs. And the bomb is down. It's only 2, making 1 left, and that's Cyber Focus in the middle of a smoke. think is in main. Nice and squeak. And hot, but it's going to go down by Tensky eventually. These new textures are making me confused sometimes.
Well, that's the thing, right? You're used to Nuke looking a certain way. It does look a little bit more colourful now, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, a little too cheerful for me. It needs to be very depressing.
That's how I felt playing Nuke on T-side. Depressed. Just
Actually, I like the
thing.
challenge. I was a great fan of the old Nuke, just because of the fact that if you got 6 to 7 rounds with that T-side, you were the king of the world. Because you made some good work, and it was doable. But let's focus on this one instead. It's the new Nuke, and Empire's going to be able to buy, and Cyber Focus opens things up onto config. They have an Eagle and Tech9, but AWP and 2 AKs as well in play. That is an early 5-on-4 advantage for Team Empire.
Has his teammate up on Silo to thank for that, because he was keeping config busy outside. And a flashbang landed in his face, so he was pretty much a dead man. Had his teammate not come to his rescue. Cajun B with 2 kills, though, setting this round back on fire for Dignitas, which they desperately require. He's going to be bobbing and weaving just behind the red container. Cyber Focus did catch that grenade coming over from there, so judging from the trajectory, he knows there's a player hiding out there.
Electronic is right now on top of that silo, making his way towards main, though. Just picking up the -47. Rubino's going to spot him out. Decides to just evade from Secret right now. And Team Empire also deciding to just leave hard. Try to gather up and hit one of the parts of the map, which seemingly is going to be ramp, which held right now by Tensky.
Pretty solid positions as seen from Team Dignitas. 35 seconds left of this round, unless Empire can get that bomb planted. Tensky is going to be in the thick of the action. Just ducks back down again, waiting for Terrace to push him. He's got Cajun B who came out from lockers. He can't get it done in the solo. He can't afford to go for that refrag. So in doing so, Empire will be able to get onto the site. But this is where the decon room can really play off massively for the CTs, because it adds an extra angle to cover. And Rubino comes out with 2 kills. Dignitas have brought it back to a 4-round deficit.
Yeah, there you go. And they managed to leave, have 3 alive as well at the end of that round. So it's going to be a bit of bank build for them. Have to drop 2 weapons though. It's going to be a little costly for them. In the meanwhile, Empire has to save into this one. But yeah, it's an opportunity created by Empire. So I think they've been closer to winning rounds for the most part than Dignitas was on their own team side. Yeah. So that might be a little bit concerning for Dignitas to be able to hold Empire at bay in a lot of these rounds. But this time it's going to be that same round, so it should be quite straightforward.
And it also means as a result of getting more kills, then Dignitas could get on their T side. Dignitas aren't that far away from having to eco if they do end up losing a couple rounds. So it's in that kind of situation. We've got players on $450 or thereabouts. Team Empire pretty much with a full-on eco. Get the kill on config, so at least taking a player down with them. But the rest of them should be falling fairly shortly. Spiker, so close. Just tiptoeing around the Molotov. Yeah. He'll be looking to scamper away, but Tensky still has his sights trained on there, onto radio. Oh, they very nearly line up for him, but he can't get any kills, just be backing away instead. The call will come through though, and now the charge is in effect from Empire. The Cajun B will jump on top of that. Free frag for him onto Spiker.
Tensky has went into the toxic right now. Well, that's exactly the first position Electronic is going to spot, but now Rubino comes to the rescue. The last remaining Empire players, and now we're sitting at 12-9. Dignitas slowly creeping back into this. It's going to be another buy right now by Empire. No op in play. I do have 5 smokes, a bunch of flashes, but no Molotovs to play with. Let's see what they have in their back of tricks.
I wonder if it still is called radio, because I think there's vending machines in there now. Not entirely sure. I'll check that out at some other point. Either way, smoke thrown out to get rid of the vision. Kutcher, just like that, charges straight through into the upper site, gets himself a kill. He's on the site now, but the bomb is in a precarious position, and the fact that the rest of his team are dropping around him, and so will he afterwards, means it's Cyber Focus, 1-on-3. No real hope. He'd like to have maybe a Molly or a HE to just toss up into heaven, but instead he's going to be circling around. There's so many angles for him to cover. He's not sure if someone's going to be peeking around the back. Tensky's done that a couple times and he's still alive. Smoking down, going to be trying to get the bomb plant. Well, actually faking it out, trying to draw a couple of these CTs out into the open, but they're having none of it. The bomb would have been planted by now if he'd stuck onto it anyway. So the fake has not been bought just yet.
Yeah, still got a minute and 55 seconds to play with, rather. And the bomb is in his hand, but he might be seen by Config, and that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be yet another round going away with Dignitas, and it's pretty much becoming what I was expecting, a struggle on that T side.
Yep, you called it. Dignitas have definitely stepped things up on their CT side. As you can see, just the one lone round for Empire on their T half, and 6 in total for Dignitas as the call has came through. Timeout for Empire. They're going to try and go back to the drawing board, figure out what's been going wrong for them. They've had chances, though, as you said. When I think the early stages of their T half, they've looked more promising than Dignitas did.
Yeah, but we haven't really seen any set executes for upper bomb side, for example. You know, there's a lot of opportunities to throw Molotovs. We saw Dignitas throw the Molotov on top of hot ones, but we didn't really see a lot of set places, set pieces, utilizing the different possibilities this map has with the windows on top of the upper bomb side, for example. You can throw a lot of flashes there. You can throw that specific Molotov there. You can smoke off. You can smoke off pretty much everywhere there and make it super chaotic. The only plays really Dignitas was doing some plays where they went into the vents, obviously, but from Team Empire side, it's been just a default kind of trying to make a pick, trying to make an opening, and then play around that.
I haven't really seen either team, barring maybe the pistol round, I think the first round, where they've tried to utilize catwalk outside. It's mainly been outside, toing and froing on the containers, but we haven't really seen anyone wrap themselves around the new catwalk. Maybe that's as a result of having a lot of respect for the fact that Cajun B's out there, and he has been landing a lot of shots. I think he's currently top fragging. Let me just double check. Yeah, he's on 18 for 16, so he's been performing pretty solidly, and most of those kills have been on his CT side as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can basically rain in flashes and try to rush that outer catwalk and try to go to CT heaven. Directly, maybe, you know, apply pressure on Cajun. If he misses one shot, he's supposed to die in that situation if there's so many terrorists running from the upper catwalk. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to be had. But still, like I said, the map is so new, it's so green that there's still a lot of things that people have just not had the time to try.
That's exactly it, which is why we were both a bit puzzled that Dignitas would allow this to get through. I think Empire, other two teams would be much happier.
Yeah, I mean, this is the dream situation for an underdog team.
Absolutely.
Play a map that neither of you are going to be super comfortable on, so you can surprise your opponent, but it's going to be an upper push coming in here. They are quite bought up, this Empire right now. Kucher leading the way, MSL on the side, quite alone. It's going to be a trade kill coming in. Cyber Focus make the numbers in their favor before Rubino equalizes into a 3-on-3.
Bomb is going to get planted, though, from Empire, and with 2 assault rifles. And the fact that Dignitas have a couple of weakened members, just all off the back of a straight-up rush through Squeaky. This could be a little bit of a sketchy situation for Dignitas. They're going to be trying to push in together once these smokes have cleared. There's still time with the kits that they have in their back pockets to make this retake a reality. Oh, that's an important kill. Tensky misses out on now. Funnels the other 2 players in a very one-dimensional retake. They're going to be checking behind them, behind the vent, which is exactly where Electronic is sat. And he's going to be waiting for this peek. It's a 2-on-1. All they have to do is wait, and the time will do the rest for them. And Empire have taken the round straight after the pause.
Yeah, and a half buy as well. They were not even fully invested into that. And again, a lack of Molotov and Squeaky just being a problem. I mean, it used to be a thing in the old Nuke. Why is it not a thing in this new Nuke? That you can rush through Squeaky just as well.
That's a good question.
I think it's a very legit question to be asked, and now that's going to be a lot of pressure on Dignitas. They are 100% invested into this. Kucher making his way to Squeaky. Yeah, it's going to be an upper bomb side rush once again. MSL with that back 7 though, with 3 big kills coming in. The bomb is down. It's all down to Kucher and Cyber Focus. The bomb is down in upper bomb site.
I guess no molly required if you've got those max 7 skills. MSL with a 4th. He's on for the ace. Oh, Tensky, the party pooper.
Yes.
Not today.
The gentleman's rule did not apply to that round. Tensky,
sure, MSL,
you bad boy.
MSL literally doesn't care, though. He's like, dude, we got the round, so we're all good.
Obviously not. But those of you that don't know, there's a gentleman's rule. That if someone gets 4 kills, you always let him have the ace, if possible. If he dies, then go for the kill.
There you go. Scumbag Tensky. You heard it here first. Force in for Empire. And is it going to be another fast play? Yes, it is. So,
because why not? Here it comes, Rubino.
Finally!
It's going to be MSL though with another 2 kills before Cyber Focus manages to neutralize him. And now it becomes a 3-on-3, but they don't even go to the upper bombs. They just try to go to ramp, but Tensky is ready for that action. I think you may have seen the other guy too, or never mind, decides to just fall back into lower bomb site. Doesn't need to take out fight, but Config is very up close towards the ramp. You gotta be gotta be careful with your config because you have one to your left and one right in front of you, but he gets the kill on the Cyber Focus and on the Kutcher as well. And that's going to be Dignitas with another round coming in. And they're very close to actually managing to equalize the scoreline as Empire are very low on money. Will probably have to save this round number 26.
Yeah, make a lot of sense. They're not out of this just yet. They still have a round in the lead, so if they tap out of this one, they'll have AKs in the next round comfortably. This is Dignitas' chance to now get themselves that bit closer to a 1-1 scoreline overall in this tournament. Spaz up on Silo is going to be using the catwalk, comes out and actually falls to his death. Gravity owns him. As a result, the config wrecking him before he made the leap of faith. No sanctuary for you today, sir. Electronic, Kutcher and Cyber Focus. Last remaining terrorists, and pretty much just trying to bide their time. See if they can get a lone straggler across. Tensky's having none of it. Rubino, meanwhile, puts down Electronic with ease, and now Kutcher's the eagle. All that stands between Dignitas and a flawless round.
That would be good, obviously, for their economy at this point, but Kutcher is going to try to get something out of this. But he is not getting anything. Goes down, and finally Dignitas equalizes the scoreline at 13-13. Now the pressure is mounting on both sides, I guess you could say. Cyber Focus once again on that AWP, and now let's see if Empire has something else to throw at us, except for the default plays towards Yard. Maybe that fast push for Catwalk would be something the Doctor ordered at this point for Empire. Try to apply some fast pressure onto Dignitas' defense.
Maybe that is the state of play. And the pit-patter of footsteps up the ladder as well, so maybe I'll be taking that advice. Cyber Focus a little bit too slow on the trigger.
He was a little bit keen.
Yep. So that will be, I think it was Cajun who was peeking him from Garage, that will live to fight another day. And now he's relocated to peer across the red container. And he could get some action pretty soon because Kutcher was thinking about pushing through. If he does, he may be a dead man. And there we go. Cajun strikes with the efficiency that Dignitas have finally found on their second half. Empire will be reeling after that.
Another round where Empire just trying to make some kind of opening without really having an idea what to do. Kutcher is running out Yard, kind of clueless. I mean, that's an angle that used to be there even the earlier version of Nuke. You should be a little bit more cautious when you know there's an op in play, but, well, let's go down, so it's a 5-on-4 advantage for Dignitas. Right now, it seems like there might be a bit of a play here coming from Empire, but instead it's going to be Config making the plays with those two massive kills on Yard. Remaining Electronic Spiker here, forcing things on ramp, and they're going to get on the Tensky, but Cajun with another kill. GB with another kill, rather. And yeah, that's going to be just Electronic now, with a lot of work to be done.
I mean, surely just no hope. The bomb's out, it's spotted from the CT, he's got 15 seconds. No grenade to breach out with. There's going to be Dignitas claiming a 14th round. It's MSL, I should say MSI. Oh,
MSI.
no sponsorships here.
Whoa.
MSL who lands the headshot. And Dignitas now have put Empire into a pretty sticky situation. They're going to force buy, so Tech9s, this could be for the map ultimately. If Empire lose this, they're going to have a sketchy buy for the last round, and Dignitas will have 2 map points, so a lot of pressure for Empire.
The best Empire has had to offer so far has been an upper rush through Squeaky and Hot. So I would not be surprised if we see a little bit more of that. And here it comes once again. Rubino, is he going to have a meat grinding going on? Gets one, make it two. Cajun B and MSL chiming in just as well. It is all down to Kutcher. Ladies and gentlemen, Dignitas have finally learned how to hold that squeaky push.
No health lost at all for Dignitas.
That's exactly pretty much what should happen in that kind of a situation, as long as you pay attention to squeaky door and you throw some grenades towards there, and you have a couple guys looking at different angles towards there. And well, Dignitas did come back into this, but 2 more rounds remain possibly. Empire with the AK-47, everyone has a smoke. There's 3 flashes in play as well, but no Molotovs. AWP, but so far they haven't really shown anything on this T side. Not a single proper set piece, just trying to play these defaults through Yard. And Dignitas has been able to just neutralize them one after the other. Config playing a very cheeky positioning right now around this red container.
Yeah, using the smoke to his advantage. spots that there's some real estate to be claimed in Cyberfocus. How does he get the kill? Config had him dead to rights.
That's called the lazy aim. Config.
Oh man, if Empire end up taking this round, Config will be kicking himself.
Well,
Bino with a beautiful headshot onto Kutcher is going to even the odds. So digging Config out of a bit of a ditch. Electronic puts them back down again. MSL. It's his turn to get out the spade. Electronic is low. And this is where the issue comes in with the pull by Cajun B, blocking out Electronic in midair, partially through the smoke. This is where the issue falls down. The Empire only have a flash of the smoke to play with. No HEs, no Molotovs. At the start of this round, it's going to start to haunt them now. You have to feel Cyberfocus takes a little bit of damage, but it's negligible at best. But there is Rubino to finish it off what he started. Spiker in a 1v3 in MSL dispatches him. Dignitas, they dodge bullets. They come back from 11-4 half to take it. 16-13.
Yeah, well, pretty much went the way we expected. T-side struggling for both teams massively. And what looks like it was going to be a huge uphill battle for Dignitas. They make it work. It seemed quite easy actually on the CT side. Yeah. But still, you have to question the decision of letting Nuke through, honestly, because it's still in this when the stakes are so high. Why would you want to take that risk against as such a high, or like when you're playing an underdog team like Empire?
They escaped in that map. There's no doubt in my mind they escaped. And I think against, no disrespect to Empire, they're a good team, but I feel like against a top tier team there, they would have been punished a little bit more. But that's enough from us. Natu, we have the analysts and Mitch waiting, so over to you guys.
Thanks very much, Metis. Looks like you guys were kind of hanging out with the Nuke map. Not too happy with that one. You guys just constantly sitting there going, oh, well, bad veto, bad veto. Dignitas did manage to stabilize in towards that second half, though, after we started thinking that it could be happening, the whole tempo dig. Excuse me, X-Tempo, now Immortals. I'm going to be making that mistake for approximately another hour or two. But, gents, Vendetta, Blue, let's talk about this one just a little bit. It did seem at the start of things that Empire had a very good understanding of that map. I think we were sitting in the green room going, they're playing off angles nicely. Everything looked pretty good for the CIS team. Yeah,
they were finding positions that, well, I guess they might become commonplace, but for right now, they seem very unorthodox and caught Dignitas off guard. So, you know, that was impressive to see at the start, and we do, you know, oftentimes we do get afraid when we watch Dignitas play that they might get into their own heads and start, you know, getting frustrated and play worse because of it. So, a bit worried at the beginning, but they managed to get that all-important fourth round. And that was really kind of what we were looking for, and kind of what we said in the pregame as well, that Nuke is still, from what we know, a fairly CT-heavy side.
Of course, while it is still quite new, I think what the casters were saying was give it some time with these changes that are supposed to help out the T side. We could be seeing more developments leaning towards the T side. But right now, I mean, was it 6 T rounds over the course of the entire game for both, you know, 4-1, 2 for the other? Like, that's just a tiny amount, minuscule amount. Blue, what were your thoughts?
I think overall, I mean, like I said before, the problem is that when we saw Empire playing against Arcade at the CIS minor, they ran into the same problems. That their T side play overall was just abysmal, very unformulated and whatnot. And on the CT side, a lot of the big plays just tended to come mainly from Cyberfocus. They're pulling off those plays outside. You single-handedly held that in certain scenarios there. So relying a bit on that, but then the T side just fell completely flatline. It was like a completely different team was playing it. Certainly it seemed like it was the case for Dignitas too, but overall there, I feel like Empire's inexperience as an entire team ended up biting them much harder on their own T side.
The criticism, just final question, the criticism that we did give Dignitas before was MSL, not only his performance, but his stubbornness to maintain the main AWP, given the presence of Cajun B. Are we going to continue to see this? Did there seem like a bit of a shift on Nuke, in your opinion?
I think it's more down to the map than anything else. MSL playing at the inner bomb side on CT, probably not going to bust out an AWP there unless you're very, very optimistic. And on the T side, I guess that's probably down to feel, and if anything, Cajun is or has done it in the past, being a fairly mobile AWPer, being able to walk around. So having him, for instance, use that AWP to find picks on the outer side from Silo, that's just perfectly reasonable. Doesn't necessarily mean there's a change.
We finally got our new game, and it is going to have to be a quick one, guys. We want to keep throwing more and more of these maps at you, and we have to end our day with hopefully a little bit of sunlight left. I don't think that's going to happen, but we do have Config standing by with Mitch. He's going to go ahead and give us his thoughts on how Nuke went down.
Thank you, Alex, Ven, and Blue. I'm stood here with Config after that game as well, a very close affair here. Empire had the chance to play this one out on Cobblestone. What were your thoughts as soon as you saw them veto that out instead for Nuke?
We were really surprised because we thought they would play couple. We anti-stratted couple against them because we saw them play it yesterday. We were just really surprised that they wanted to play Nuke because we had never seen them play Nuke before.
So let's talk again about Cajun B, because we saw him actually pick up the AWP for the entire game here as well and actually show us a really good performance. After speaking to Robino yesterday, we kind of had the impression that he might actually be the tag team buddy with you to obviously replace Kirby in that case. But so is it just for this map? Is it just for certain maps here? Because Cajun B definitely shining a little bit this game.
I think Cajun is playing almost AWP on every map, like he's AWPing with MSL. So when he has the chance to AWP and when we can afford it or we pick it up somewhere, and he's going to AWP because Cajun B is such a good AWPer.
Let's talk a little bit more then on that note. Well, we saw Cajun B perform, but the rest of you guys definitely came back strongly in that CT side. But as you know, on Nuke, 11-4 is a good scoreline for 4 rounds on the T side. Talk to me about the T side. What is honestly the best way to go about taking that site? Because once CT gets rolling, it seems so hard to slow them down.
Usually when we practice Nuke, we get really many. We get much T sides. We get like 7 or 8 or 9 T sides. But this time we got 4, so we were like kind of nervous. Everyone was kind of nervous. So I think T side is almost the same map as it was before it got removed. So it's ultra CT sided.
Yeah, we definitely saw that reflected, I think, in the score as well. So thank you very much for joining me, dude, as well. Good luck with the rest of your games, of course. They move up to the 1-1 pool, but when we return from this break, we're going to be heading up to the winners pool. Stay tuned. We've got some blockbuster clashes right around the corner.